to put it in layman's terms, I think you're basically saying China is forming a new world order.
Yep.
But the specific term you use is world systems theory. So kind of explain what that means and like how China is forming a new world order.
Sure. So world systems theory is actually a school of thought in international relations, which was pioneered by a guy called Emanuel Wallerstein in the 1970s and 80s. And it holds that just like dependency theory, the world is made up of core states and periphery states, but also semi-periphery states, those who are in the middle who may go one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And world systems theory is just one theory. It's not multiple ones. It's also called world systems analysis. And it holds that states are illusory. There's no such thing as a state. It just demarcates particular zones of taxation and sometimes, linguistic differences between, across stretches of land. But in essence, the world is one capitalist world system where you have core processes, and these are high-yielding processes. They generate a lot of revenue for wherever they're hosted, as opposed to periphery processes, which don't generate as much revenue and which don't require a lot of special training. For example, a core industry would be smartphones, and a peripheral industry would be mining the ore for those smartphones. So one smartphone can have like a very small amount of ore, and it's multiple times the price of its weight in ore. But it requires a lot of specialized technology to produce it and to market it as well. And so world systems theory holds that it's not particularly states that are core or peripheral, it's processes. And the more processes that are high yielding within a given boundary, the higher the status of that state on the core and periphery binary, if you will.
So it's kind of like how China was pushing the whole Made in China 2025 thing. They want more and more.
It's like high-end manufacturing
in
China, and that helps China become powerful.
Well, yes, high-end manufacturing does. If it's a high-yielding industry, then it does elevate China's status or its standing in the world. But China remains, according to world systems theory, a semi-periphery because it still can't quite assert itself without, it's still kind of weary of U.S. sanctions, of EU sanctions, because that's where the money is. That's the key to its continued economic growth and its continued ascension. So it has to kind of play by the rules, as visibly as it can, for better or for worse, as it becomes more and more powerful. But in terms of China's manufacturing campaign, again, it depends on what it's manufacturing. If it's manufacturing low-grade goods, it doesn't really push it that much because low-grade goods would be peripheral products, and those would keep a country peripheral.
So in terms of world systems theory, what are some of the core things that you want to be able to control as a country that would make you like more in the core and not periphery?
Yes, that's a great question, as all of them will be, of course.
I like this guy.
What makes a country a core state in world systems theory is its ability to project influence in multiple ways. The first way, of course, is economic dominance. So it wants to dominate economically, not just within the borders itself, but across the borders. And economic dominance is done in three ways, and these happen in order. So let's take the example of China and Pakistan, which is what my research currently is about. In terms of economic dominance, there's three components: production dominance, trade dominance, then financial dominance. Production dominance begins when the country that wants to become a core state can produce goods that are of a higher quality than the competition and can outdo whatever competition is there locally inside the periphery. So Huawei phones, for example, if they're outdoing Samsung and the iPhone, it's kind of pushing away the American grip. Also, if China's producing like other electronics, it's pushing away the EU, Germany, Japan as well. Not the EU, but you know what I mean. So that's production dominance. They can also produce them in large quantities because China is a huge economy, whereas Pakistan has many issues when it comes to maintaining a high enough level of production and a high enough quality of production. So in Pakistan right now, Chinese goods are outdoing Pakistani goods if they're the same, if it's the same industry. So that's production dominance. Second is trade dominance. And mind you, for a country to be a core state with respect to a periphery, more money must be entering the core from the periphery than vice versa. And so when it comes to trade dominance, the core wants to be indispensable to the periphery, but the periphery can be dispensable to the core. So China right now is Pakistan's number one source of imports. However, this is not mutual. Pakistan is nowhere near China's number one source of imports. It's highest in agricultural imports from Pakistan. So as you know, China is not a country that has a lot of arable land. And as its economic situation improves, there'll be more demand for agricultural products. And this makes producers of agricultural goods such as Vietnam, Thailand, Pakistan, it makes their agriculture more in demand. And so right now, Pakistan is the third source of rice for China. So in this way, China is able to project its trade dominance over Pakistan. It's essentially being like, okay, Pakistan, I don't need you. You need me. You need these goods, and my goods can outdo yours and can outdo the other country's goods. But I don't need your rice as much as I need Vietnam's rice or Thailand's rice. So you behave yourself.
Well, I know a lot of your research focused on China's relationship with the Middle East and North Africa. And so is it a case where China is trying to become, to these places, a core country?
Yeah. I mean, yes, certainly. Now, it's not being loud and obnoxious about its ambitions, but it is quietly making gains in the Middle East and North Africa. You may have heard about the recent pact that it made with Iran. China is trying to be on good terms with everybody in the region. And China is interested in all the countries where it sees opportunity. Egypt, Algeria, Saudi Arabia, for different reasons. Saudi Arabia, obviously, for the energy sector, there's mutual investment in that regard. Also for infrastructure, China actually built a railway from Mecca to Medina a few years ago. So there's many opportunities for China to invest and to be a part of economic activity there.